Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's six-gun shootout minus the sorcery. Today we're looking at 6 Western short stories by one of the most important and influential pulp writers of all time, Robert E. Howard. So I read most of the Conan the Barbarian stories and loved those, and I recently did a buddy read with Jeff from Jeff's Cave of Cool Books, and he told me that Robert E. Howard also wrote Westerns and weird Westerns, which I did not know. So I've actually never read any Westerns before that buddy read with Jeff, so these stories are my earliest experiences with the genre. I like keeping an open mind and trying new things, so here we are. Now I started with the regular Westerns rather than the weird Westerns because I wanted to get a feel for the genre in its pure form. So the first story I read is called Drums of the Sunset, and this is about a good-natured cowboy who wanders into the territory of outlaws doing shady business with the help of the local Navajos. The territory is unstable ridges of loose rock, and somewhere out there is a huge deposit of gold. The cowboy befriends an old prospector and a damsel in distress, and the three work together to beat all the bad guys in an interesting way. This one was funny, and to my great surprise, had a saccharine tone. I didn't realize that Robert E. Howard had a sense of humor, and honestly, it was pretty funny. This guy gets his hat shot off, and he goes, "Now they owe me a new hat, so I gotta pay him back." I thought that was pretty good. Next story was The Extermination of Yellow Donnery, and this is about a man so cowardly that he wants to take his own life in shame, but can't bear to do it. So he goes up to the most dangerous gunslinger and blatantly insults him. It doesn't turn out the way he expected, and things change for the better in a zany way. Again, this Western was surprisingly funny. It was dark humor, but still, didn't realize Robert E. Howard had a comical side to him. It was pretty good. Next story was Judgment of the Desert, and this is about a cowboy who witnesses a murder, and the dying man tells him a secret. A stranger appears and offers to help the cowboy find the secret, even though he keeps his identity a secret. Lots of secrets in this one. The two head out into a vast desert canyon to find a stash of gold while pursued by the murderers, and a damsel in distress also shows up. This one had some interesting things to say about killing in self-defense versus killing in cold blood, guilt, and atoning for past evil deeds. Surprisingly deep. Gunman's Debt was about a cowboy who has a family feud and enters a new town on business. The sheriff says, get this, the town doesn't respect Second Amendment rights, and the cowboy has to turn in his revolvers. In a move that would make any modern-day Texan's head explode, the cowboy surrenders his firearms and enters the town. Oh, man, no! It's an ambush, of course, and the whole story from there is intense action, paranoia, and evil people coming out of the woodwork from every direction. Excellent story, truly nuts action. Devil's Joker was about a deadly young gunfighter who has a phobia of snakes. Well, a local prankster tosses a dead snake onto the guy's lap, which makes him flip out, so he shoots the prankster right in the gut. He flees from the sheriff who pursues him. The young gunfighter joins a gang of real outlaws, and he has to decide if he's going to do the really bloodthirsty actions the outlaws require of him, or listen to his conscience and own up to his mistakes. This was my favorite story. I didn't think that a Western story could be about fate and karma, but hey, this one was. Really deep, really well told. Now, the last story I didn't care for as much. This was Knife, Bullet, and Noose. This story was a huge info dump about all these characters and their different motivations. I was just lost and bored. I didn't like the last story, but 5 out of 6 ain't bad. So, in terms of general impressions of some of my earliest experiences here reading Westerns, I realize now that Westerns are a setting with certain tropes, and you can use these tropes to tell many different types of stories. I thought Westerns were just drunk guys beating the crap out of each other at the saloon and killing Native Americans, but there's a lot of depth to these stories, particularly The Devil's Joker I liked a lot, and Gunman's Debt too. Some deep themes there. And speaking of the Native Americans, one of the reasons I avoided this genre for so long was their portrayal as bloodthirsty savages. And that, to me, was a really simplistic explanation, kind of told by the victorious side in a genocidal war. And so I was relieved that the Native Americans as bad guys didn't feature that prominently in the books. In fact, in a way, these stories kind of follow that old joke: I'm not racist, I hate everyone equally. Robert E. Howard shows that anyone of any race or background can be a real bloodthirsty criminal varmint. So it was good to see that there is diversity in bad guys. And the other thing I appreciated about the Westerns was the sense of a lawless, dangerous, criminal world, and the people who took a stand against those forces and tried to bring order, safety, and justice to the world. Now, they mostly did that by shooting stuff, but hey, it's the thought that counts, I suppose. Anyways, I had a good time with these stories. I'm not going to give it a star rating because I'm so new to the genre, but I did have a good time with them, and at some point in the near future, I plan to read the weird westerns that are also in this volume. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well.